and welcome to Aunt Kissel's Comedy Club, live and on location on my brother's front porch. How many of you remember when Nextel was a thing? You know, two-way. For those of you who don't know what Nextel is because you're a little too young, it was a cell phone before smartphones that had this little feature on it called two-way. You ever seen Stranger Things? They've got the little walkie-talkies. It was kind of like a walkie-talkie built into the side of your phone. But you could only two-way other people who had Nextel or Boost Mobile, which was prepaid Nextel. Okay. This is a story about back when I had a Nextel phone. And before GPS and Google Maps and all that. I was going to spend the weekend at a friend's house who lived in the middle of nowhere, and I'd never been there before. So I was following her in my car, and she was driving her car with her boyfriend in the passenger seat, down back roads to get to where she lived. And it was about an hour and a half drive to get there. Well, I apparently got behind too far at one point, so they pulled off to the side of the road to let me get and, catch up. I didn't realize they'd pulled over, so I wound up in front of them at this point. And they knew where everything was because they knew the route. So they knew where stop signs and everything else were. Well, there was a stop sign that was covered by a tree. You couldn't see it until you were 5 feet from the darn stop sign. So unless you knew the stop sign was there, you weren't stopping. Well, needless to say, I didn't see the stop sign until I was flying past it at the speed limit of 55, I think. Well, anyway, as I'm going through the stop sign, my friend's boyfriend in the passenger seat of her car sees that I am not slowing down for this stop sign. And this is what he does. He's in the passenger seat, and he goes, "She's not slowing down, she's not slowing down, she's not stopping, she's going through!" And he's trying to hit an imaginary brake on his side of the car for my car that's in front of them. This is all true. And he about had a freaking coronary because I blew past the stop sign that I didn't know was there. Luckily, it was a weekend, and the road that I crossed and shouldn't have is normally a very busy road. So luckily, I did not get hit by a car, didn't get pulled over by a cop, and I completely didn't know the stop sign was there. If I had known the stop sign was there, I definitely would have fully stopped. Totally true. When I was working as a waitress, I had two guys come in, same table. I waited on them. They joked back and forth with me. Came back, took their order, came back and asked if they were together or, if they were together or separate. And one of them decides to go with it. And he goes, "He wants us to be, but I'm not ready to commit." So I go and print off their separate checks and bring them back to him. And as I hand them back, I look at the other guy and I say, "See, if you'd have bought us dinner, he might have said yes." And, they're both joking back and forth with me. Well, a little bit goes by and it's time for them to pay. Well, I'm up at the register, bringing out about 12 teenagers in front of them. When it was finally their turn, I said, "Okay, boys, you're next." And one goes, "Ooh, are we in trouble?" I said, "Yeah, let me go grab my belt." He goes, "Ooh, what's the safe word?" Without missing a beat, I said, "Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, but it might be a little difficult to say with the ball gag in your mouth." The other guy, the guy I was talking to, starts cracking up immediately. The other guy that was with him opened his mouth like this. And what I should have said at that point was, "Yep, that's where it goes." Got a $5 tip out of it. Pretty cool. My best night working ever. That just made my night. It was hysterical. And let's see. And back when I was in high school, our family was notorious for having water fights, indoor, outdoor, whatever. It was squirt guns, cups of water, buckets of water, and water balloons, whatever you can get your hands on that was full of water. Well, freshman year of high school, we had one of those fights. A puddle on the linoleum floor in the kitchen did not get cleaned up. This all actually happens. It's true. Didn't get cleaned up at the time. I have no idea to this day how the plastic snow shovel got sat on top of it. And then the kitchen light got turned off. Well, we all left to go get food from it was a fast food restaurant called Hot Now. It's no longer around anymore. We all ate in the living room. Well, I got up to go throw away my trash, walked from the living room through the dining room and into the kitchen, didn't turn the light on because I knew where the trash was, stepped on the shovel, slipped in the puddle, and did a 180 to where I was facing back the way I came. I was looking at the living room when I fell. And it hit my head on the 2x4 that stuck out from underneath the refrigerator because the kitchen floor wasn't exactly level. Now, I know I was unconscious because everyone was 2 rooms away when I fell, and the next time I opened my eyes, my mother's dwarf boyfriend was standing over me going, "Are you okay?" Yes, he was a little person. And I have to admit myself that if it would have been caught on film, it would have been freaking hysterical. Of course, then my mom waited 3 hours before he actually took me to the emergency room to make sure I didn't have a concussion. She liked to do the wait and see approach, not the, "Oh, we're going to take you to the hospital now." We didn't go to the doctor for checkups. We went when something was seriously wrong.